been signed between the two countries as part of strategic dialogue aimed at deepening and expanding their economic cooperation. This formed the major highlights of the high-level talks between President Muhammadu Buhari and his Polish Republic counterpart, Andrzej Duda, in Abuja.
Stąd też zacieśnianie relacji pomiędzy Polską a Nigerią.
It is immensely important piece of document, especially in the light of the food security crisis that is faced right now, and not only by Nigeria, but also by the entire African continent. And that is why it's so important to us to further strengthen the relations between Poland and Nigeria right now. One element strengthening these relations is the memorandum that we have signed today. It is very important for the future of our relations, but also for the future of the food security in Nigeria and at large. It can also contribute to the modernization and increasing the efficiency of Nigerian economy and Nigerian agriculture, but it also can serve as a vehicle for sharing experiences. And speaking about the energy security dimensions, the talks that we have had today are essential from the perspective of supplying both LNG gas as well as oil to Poland and the European Union.
I wish to express the readiness of Nigeria to enlarge the fields of economic cooperation with Poland, including the fields of energy, agriculture, and manufacturing. We are gratified by our already fruitful cooperation in the maritime, education, and defense fields. In view of the numerous global challenges, we would like to develop new mechanisms such as regular strategic dialogues and political consultations to cover not only bilateral relations, but also to address regional and international issues.
The new leader of the United Kingdom's Conservative Party, Liz Truss, has assumed as UK's Prime Minister, making her the third UK female Prime Minister in history, following Margaret Thatcher and Theresa May. Liz Truss was appointed by the Queen at Balmoral as required in the UK Constitution. As the leader of the ruling Conservative Party, Truss, now British Prime Minister, replaces Boris Johnson, who resigned early July after a scandal hit government. Before her new exalted position in the UK, the 47-year Liz Truss was UK's Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs since 2021 and Minister for Women and Equalities since 2019. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated the new UK Prime Minister, Liz Truss, on her assumption of office. President Buhari, who rejoices with the former Foreign Secretary, said her antecedents in government, politics and diplomacy will further shape and strengthen relations with Nigeria and other nations. He affirms that the shared ties between Nigeria and the UK remain strong, positive and mutually beneficial, while working with Prime Minister Liz Truss to deepen that relationship in the interest of both countries. Similarly, President Buhari acknowledged what he termed the warmth and friendliness of the immediate past Prime Minister Boris Johnson, wishing him the best in his future endeavors. Now, all internally displaced persons, either by insurgency or flood, will participate in the 2023 general elections. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu gave the assurance at a meeting to validate regulations for voting by IDPs in the 2023 elections. Mia Ogidi reports.
Caught in between the troops and the terrorists, the sound of gun sent them off their homes. Others fleeing from flood, internally displaced persons, but their voting right not taken away by fight and flood. INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu and his men, security agencies, other stakeholders united here by a common agenda, validation of regulations for voting by IDPs, 17 guidelines up for consideration. intrastate IDPs to vote in all elections, while interstate IDPs opt for only presidential polls.
As far as practicable, no Nigerian is disenfranchised on account of displacement by emergency situations.
An issue of the agenda for the day presented by the INEC boss.
It has become necessary to make an important clarification.
Figures ruffled by a comment credited to a NGO.
The Commission was accused of failure to display the voters' register. This claim is incorrect. That the Commission will display the comprehensive register. This will integrate fresh registers, registrants under the last CBR exercise to the existing register of 84 million voters.
Actions and reactions, signposts, electioneering period, but the near absence of such beautifies democracy, the INEC chairman told the civil society community. Mayor Okada, NTA News.
Senate has screened 4 reappointed presidential nominees as non-executive directors of the Central Bank. Chairman Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, Uba Sani, urged the nominees to justify the confidence reposed in them by living above board. National Assembly correspondent Mubolaji Moribirin has the reports.
These faces are not new in the Senate, as one may say. Their professionalism in the last 4 years as the nation's apex bank has gained them another appointment by President Muhammadu Buhari as non-executive directors of the Central Bank of Nigeria.
This screening exercise will avail us as a committee the opportunity to gain deeper insight into your professional experiences.
The exercise was an interactive session as questions bordering on CBN intervention funds and other issues relating to exchange rate took the center stage.
Let the public know what really is the measurable impact that we are getting from these interventions.
Like I said, a necessity for CBN to be engaged in interventions of so many sectors. If you want to address the poor, you want to develop the economy through growth propelling measures, then there is the need for you to have different sectors of the economy into account.
The immediate solution that can beef up earnings from crude oil, which will enable the country to build up reserves and make foreign exchange available by Nigerian stakeholders, all kind of things, is to address this issue of oil theft.
I commend you, and I will say, from my own point of view, just like what my leader has said, if they can all do it, bow and go.
If their reappointment is confirmed, the nominees will stand a chance to serve the Apex Bank for another 4-year term. From the National Assembly, Mobolaji Moribirin, NTA News.
Turning our attention to education matters now, with the lingering industrial disputes between federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, prominent individuals in Katsina State are passionately pleading with the lecturers to call off the strike for the benefits of students and development of the education sector in the country. Awal Haliru reports.
Prolonged strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities is generating more concern amongst residents of Katsina who express sadness over the issue. They argue that no country can make development without giving priority to the education sector.
The issue is not from us, the issue is from them. The well-meaning Nigerians should call on them to do the right thing. That is just it.
Prominent individuals in Katsina appeal to the striking lecturers under ASUU to find amicable ways of resolving the issue for students to return to classes and continue with their academic activities. They called on ASUU to engage in dialogue with the federal government towards ending the prolonged strike.
Even worse, from between countries, are resolved on a round table. But it's not even a war. It's a labor strike. I think it can be resolved on a round table. let the ASUU compromise and the state, the federal government also compromise and solve the problem with half of the request.
Students also expressed worries over the ASUU strike and appeal for its resolution. Lawal Aminu Saleh is a final year student of computer science at Umaru Musa Yar'Adua University, Katsina, and was supposed to graduate 2 months ago. He was disappointed that all his plans have been put on hold.
There are some variables on the strike that we know nothing about because it's something that is beyond us. But we are begging for them to find it in their hearts.
In Katsina, Awal Halaru, NTA News.
Similarly, worried over the indefinite strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, which many described as disaster to education, students, parents and other stakeholders have appealed to the leadership of ASUU to be passionate and empathetic by reaching a middle ground with the federal government for an immediate resolution of the lingering crisis. They said this in Ogun State while speaking with Tope Alabi.
Apart from the 9-month-old ASUU's strike in 2020, which many considered as the longest since ASUU's first strike in 1988, stakeholders say incessant strike by the union over resolved and contentious issues no doubt has brought untold hardship on both students and parents. They appealed to the striking lecturers to retreat, consider the interest of their students, and make compromises in order to resolve the lingering crisis.
In unionism, you lose some, you win some. Yeah. It has even gotten to a level in which the federal government has agreed with what they brought to the table. The only area is the issue relating to their salary.
To me, members of ASUU are taking this thing to extreme, and I'm beginning to see political coloration in it. Otherwise, if they really have genuine interest of these children at heart, by now they should have resumed.
This is really bad. Some of them are even pregnant. My own ward too is at home, setting items with me. Whatever they want to do should be done on time.
Students, while speaking on the adverse effects of the prolonged strike on them, say the time is now for ASUU to call off the strike for universities to resume academic activities.
This is September and I'm still stuck at 400 level, not even in my final year. So it has made me to lose a lot of opportunities, plus the fact that my house rent has been there just wasting.
They should please just think about the millions of students and the millions of naira of like house rent that is being blown away right now. Like they should just please have mercy on us and just let us resume.
Both parties should be willing to compromise at one level, because I believe, when it has to do with negotiation, compromise, is key. I appeal to the federal government of Nigeria.
Stakeholders are calling on the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, and the federal government to consider the plight of Nigerian students by resolving the issue amicably in no distant time for students to return to campuses. From Ayetoro, Tope Alabi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, only persons with requisite capacity to provide added value should be appointed into the Governing Council of Public Universities. Discussing rethinking autonomy of public universities for a second consecutive day, guests on Good Morning Nigeria also recommended the public-private partnership model for development of infrastructure and the commercialization of some services in public universities. Ekemini Williams has details.
Another day. Good Morning Nigeria puts the spotlight on autonomy of public universities in a bid to throw up more suggestions to resolve the challenge which continues to be responsible for the crisis in tertiary institutions. University autonomy was part of the initiatives that is supposed to address this, but discussants on the program have issues with the recruitment process into the governing councils, which they say needs to be reviewed.
But if you continue to have people that see appointment into governing council as a way of reward for their services to those in government, then you will not get it right. But so long as you have individuals that they are accomplished businessmen, that they have established themselves in society, then you will be in a position to say that you can surrender, they can find funds from different friends and relatives that they can bring money into the university, and that way they will reduce the burden.
To further address the funding deficit, the canvassed commercialization of services and the adoption of public-private partnership with international companies for infrastructural development, among others.
Maybe hospitality, agro-allied industry, recreational facilities. These are programs that universities can, if they have that authority, initiate and seek for investors that will come in and put in their investment, operate this for a while, and hand over to the universities when staff and particularly lecturers are engaged in some productive activities. The thought of going to strike might not even come.
Postgraduate program, I don't see any reason why universities will not be able to charge commensurate fees in their postgraduate programs. Postgraduate programs are supposed to be programs that will even help the university to be able to support undergraduate programs.
The academics stressed the imperative for proper university autonomy for public universities in Nigeria to attain relative contemporary standards. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
And reports just reaching us states that in what seems like the last effort towards brokering peace between the federal government and ASUU, the Minister of Education is seeking the intervention of pro and vice chancellors to ensure that students return to campuses. This is another move by the federal government to resolve the lingering ASUU strike.
President of ASUU has been reported to have said that the union will no longer negotiate with the federal government, the current government. This position, I think, must be resisted. Government and ASUU have no option than to continue talking until our universities are opened. There are those to students who clearly are principal victims of the crisis. In circumstances, therefore, all councils and senates of our universities are enjoined to rise up to their responsibilities. We must together continue to work to restore our public universities to where they were in the 60s and 70s.
After a 2-hour closed-door meeting, Pro-Chancellor of the National Open University of Nigeria, Professor Peter Okebukola, addressed the media.
And the minister has set up a group that is meeting as I speak with you now to work out the modalities where our universities will be open in the shortest possible time. So I'm very optimistic that the group will come up with some resolutions that will be acceptable to all parties concerned. And I'm not going to give you a time because I'm not part of the group. The group is meeting now, and maybe before the end of the day, there will be the resolutions or the outcomes of that meeting, which I am convinced, personally convinced, that it will lead to early resolution of the strike. When I say early, I mean beginning from now.
Students, parents and all Nigerians are waiting patiently to see the end of the crisis. Now, time to join Adiola in Lagos for the next set of stories on Nationwide. It's over to you, Adiola.
Thank you, Ifoma. The ban on Okada in some parts of Lagos in June 2022 and replicated in 4 other local government areas of the state recently has been applauded by Lagosians. Danny Daniels, who went out to feel the pulse of residents of this densely populated city, reports that they are hopeful that ill activities associated with operation of Okada riders will soon become a thing of the past.
Until 4 months ago, driving in and out of Apapa was an experience no Lagosian had made.
With trailers parked on both sides of the road, traffic was inevitable.
We decide to go through my two, same thing. Through this side, the same thing.
However, the ban on Okada by the Lagos State government has changed the narrative. Here at the Airways bus stop, even with trucks and other vehicle activities in top gear this morning, the roads are free of traffic.
Before early in the morning, 5:30, you find them using Okada to rob, especially ladies with handbag. Okay, but now it has reduced drastically. I really appreciate us government ban Okada, because if they don't ban an Okada, I don't know what will really happen in this Apapa.
The story is not different in Oshodi, Koshefe, Isolo and environs.
Somebody coming from outside will see Okadas flying on international airport, which is the major gateway of the country. So it's a very good thing if government can stamp on their feet and say enough is enough.
Not yet Uhuru, Lagosians ask that more minibuses like this one, popularly called Korope, be made available to ease their movement.
The small Korope is still neat and it's still more comfortable. Korope, I would say they don't litter the places the way the downfall is, and they are driving. I think their driving is a bit okay.
The Lagos State government had stated in clear terms its reasons for banning Okada riders from operating in the state, and it is to further consolidate on the achievements made so far, with particular reference to decrease in accidents and crime rates. With 80% of that dream already achieved, my respondents only wish the ban will be extended to other parts of the country. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
There is a new lease of life in Apapa as the gridlock, which has long defiled solutions, is gradually easing and paving way for more ports operations to thrive. Michael Olaleye reports that one major challenge which could overshadow the success recorded is extortion.
A typical scenario synonymous with Apapa. A frustrating experience that got many abandoning their houses, seeking shelter elsewhere. But today, this is gradually becoming history as the corridor straight from Ijora down to Lagos Port Complex is free of its usual signature.
Now they do not allow any vehicle to park. No congestion, no delay, no anything. Everywhere is free. We are all happy about it.
There is excitement among business owners within the axis, with high hopes that the easing of traffic in Apapa might soon translate into series of gains.
Now you can boast of loading a container in a day or in 24 hours and the goods is at the warehouse.
When you have to pay like 700,000 to 800,000 naira from Apapa to trade fair, now we can now think of paying 280 to 300,000 naira.
The disappearance of traffic in Apapa is the manifestation of many efforts ranging from the introduction of the electronic call-up system and the Operation Free the Ports Corridor initiative spearheaded by the federal government. In fact, this is opening up more routes for commercial drivers like Akindele Ojo, but the gains achieved within the corridor will be meaningful to him and others if what they termed undue extortion is eradicated.
So far you follow service lane, that's what's going to catch you. Last man is going to point you, say that she will arrest you. Why we the one we block the road? I just pass this side. They hold me, they collect 180,000 on my hand.
Government agencies within the port community have constantly stressed that illegal checkpoints will be dismantled.
We'll also be monitoring, working with the police command, the officers that are at those checkpoints on a daily basis. So if we have such incidences, we know who was responsible for that.
There is optimism among business operators and maritime stakeholders that once the same feat is replicated along the Tinkan Island Port Corridor, the entire community will come alive once again for more profitable ventures. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
And those are the stories from the zone. Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/olive and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. From the Center of Excellence nationwide will continue in just with Zenrit after this timeout. To stay with us.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Oh boy, this one where I read, you carry machete, you see carry gun. Wetin you want take am do, sef?
After the para like this, I don't vex.
Oh boy, calm down down now.
Like this, see like this, I dey go scatter those businesses. You know, say they take our people businesses, You know, see say, and they go there, they go show them better craze. They never see anything.
If you destroy their own for here, and they destroy your people for that side, especially that your brother where they send you money, that way don't block. Oh, how you go take survive?
See, this way talk not true. But I see the vex.
Boy, calm down. Make we embrace peace. We peace and unity. Everybody.
My people, make we gum body with peace and unity. Make we learn to live as brothers and sisters, so that we country go fit move go permanent sides. This message not from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Imagine any society without laws. Imagine piles of laws without the courts to interpret them. Imagine lots of interpretation without a medium to bring them to your doorstep. The scale of the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority helps to fill the gaps and turns law and justice into a tangible instrument for national development. That is the scale, and it is balance.
Thanks for staying with us on Nationwide, and welcome to JOS. The Industrial Training Fund, ITF, has reiterated commitment to partnering organizations that will complement its efforts towards the development of human resources and the nation's economy. Director General of the fund, Joseph Ari, stated this while receiving the Director General of the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, at the ITF headquarters, JOS. Abba Bubakari Yakubu reports.
The visit was to seek more ways of collaboration between the two establishments, starting with the responsibility of building the capacity of Nigerians and providing job opportunities for the teeming youths. Director General Smeden Olawale Fasanya wants to partner the Industrial Training Fund to include the fund's beneficiaries of skills acquisitions programs into its database in order to create business plans and access loans for the growth of their skills and businesses. He adds that when the two organizations work together, it will become easier for them to fulfill the present administration's desire for economic growth and sustainable development.
Some of them train them to give them better parts, and we have some of them who are so deep and not even creating the employment that we want them to create. We will be able to fill some of this gap. We will go to meet them at their workplaces.
Director General of Industrial Training Fund, Joseph Ari, who acknowledged the critical role played by the organizations towards providing the best technical skills to young Nigerians, described the visit as apt, as the renewed vision of Industrial Training Fund focuses on ensuring industrial revolution in Nigeria.
We are now paying attention to the national apprenticeship and traineeship system. It is better is coming in to partner with the ITF at the right time.
He restated the determination of the fund to train more Nigerians to enable them add value to the economy of the country. In Jos, Apapa, Abubakar Yakubu, NTA News.
As part of its corporate social responsibility to its host communities, the Operation Safe Haven has distributed 220 tricycles and food items worth millions of naira to the less privileged across the 17 local government areas of Plateau State. Ijoma Azemna has more.
Distributing the tricycles and food items to the less privileged, the commander says the gesture is one of a series of humanitarian interventions by his office towards the inclusion of persons with disabilities so that they can contribute to nation building. Major General Ibrahim Ali notes that the program has also been extended to some beneficiaries in 5 local government areas of Kaduna and Bauchi states. The commander urges stakeholders to collaborate with the army for more humanitarian services.
The gesture is aimed at supporting the vulnerable members of the society, especially the handicapped, with mobility, and increase their meaningful participation towards peaceful coexistence.
For the Handicapped People's Center, Jos, partnering with the army will enable the vulnerable contribute meaningfully to the development of the nation.
If the army comes in at critical point, it will help in saving the lives and protecting the well-being of our people in affected communities. I'm very, very grateful. I use it to go to my shop.
I am very happy to today the people come give me this wheelchair.
I feel so happy, extended.
Goodwill messages came from Director General Plateau Peace Building Agency, representative of Bonkom Jos, and Justice Longji Daniel of Operation Safe Haven Peace Committee. In Jos, Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
That's our contribution to Nationwide. It's back to Ifoma in Abuja for more reports.
Thank you very much, Zinret. The federal government has directed the immediate dissolution of all anti-vandal units of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. Abdurrahman Jibrila reports that this is coming at a critical meeting summoned by the Commandant General following allegations of extortion, sabotage and other forms of irregularities among officers and men of the Corps.
And all roadblocks mounted by such individuals should immediately be dismantled. And the minister has also approved the reorganization of the members of the anti-vandal team, and he directed further that the anti-vandal team will be reconstituted in due course.
The Commandant General is also engaging top management and all state commandants to review the Corps performance and policies and how to also reconstitute the units for better performance. To enhance energy for improved agricultural yields, the rural areas farmers in Akwa Ibom State are beneficiaries of solar-powered water pumps. The gesture is made possible by the federal government through the Rural Electrification Agency. Evelyn Baduepo reports.
The distribution of solar water pumps is to create the needed socio-economic impact on the lives of the rural communities. One of the beneficiaries, Akaniene Oko, appreciates the federal and state governments for the water pumps, as water is pivotal towards increased food production.
We are really happy for what we have received. This apparatus will help us a lot. And our cassava, our water leaf and pumpkin leaf suffered a lot because there is no water to pour.
I'm very, very happy for me to have this type of thing from government.
Representative of the Minister of Power, Works and Housing and South-South Coordinator Rural Electrification Agency, Rose Udo, encourages farmers adhere to the maintenance of equipment for maximum output.
And I believe that you make good use of what you have. And I'll tell you, if you take good care of your thing, it will last. They have told you, don't keep it under water or under rain.
Farmers were also advised to ensure effective use of machines, as the state has set up a monitoring team to ascertain progress of farmers.
It is taking stress off our farmers that in off seasons where we don't have rainfall, the pump can support them in agricultural production.
About 60 solar water pumps were distributed to farmers across the state, alongside a training session for farmers on proper use of the equipment. In Uyo, Evelyn Badu Ipu, NTA News.
The Nigeria Association of the Blind is seeking speedy assent to the revised copyright bill to create equal reading opportunities for persons with disabilities. Gufan Ugwanyi has the details.
Conversations in this room by members of the Blind Association alongside its partners are centered on domestication of the Marrakesh Treaty through assent to the copyright bill to help remove the barriers of reading for most Nigerians, especially those with disabilities.
If this is signed into law, it will become an act, no longer a bill. So the act allows you to put things in braille without going through the process of seeking for permission from right owners.
Making a case for equal access to unfettered access to literacy by members of the association is one supported by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities and partners including Sight Savers. In Abuja, Gufan Ugwanyi, NTA News.
Nasarawa State Government, in collaboration with Institute for Integrated Transitions, is building capacity of traditional rulers on community grievance management as panacea to ending violence in the state. Aliu Tijani reports.
Strategic to peace building and social cohesion in communities are traditional rulers who are said to be custodian of people's culture and traditions. Realizing this, Nasarawa State Government is leveraging their roles in society by engaging them in a 2-day capacity training to equip them with knowledge on how to handle emerging threats to peaceful coexistence.
Government has continued to accord priority attention to the institution by providing enabling environment for our royal fathers to contribute their quota to peaceful coexistence in the societal development.
Middle Belt Brain Trust and Institute for Integrated Transitions are partners in the training program. Former Chief of Army Staff General Martin Ludagwe is among keynote speakers who dwells on strategy to build peace and social cohesion in Nasarawa State.
Our main focus is on strengthening Nasarawa State community grievance management system as part of its community security structure. Community contacts their traditional rulers before anybody because they feel the traditional rulers are more closer and they can listen to them immediately.
A research report on ending violence in Nigeria's Middle Belt was launched, and findings of the research work are expected to deepen peace building in the state and North Central at large. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
Ogo Chukwuka in Benin is next on Nationwide. Hello, Ogo.
Hello, Ifoma. Thank you for joining us in Benin. Governor Godwin Obaseki wants Oledo youths to take advantage of the available opportunities to develop their potential. This, he says, will enable them excel in their chosen careers. This was when he received delegates from the Benin River Port. Elizabeth Omoko reports.
The group is on a visit to formally introduce to Governor Obaseki the 10 students of Edo origin who bagged scholarship awards from the federal government through the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NSCDC. Governor Obaseki is happy with the performance of the students during the November 2021 NSCDC competition. He promises to sustain and improve the education sector and announced a cash gift of $5,000 each for the 10 students.
You are setting an example, a shining example of what those of us, those adult sons and daughters who have excelled, who have gone outside, excelled in their private lives, their private businesses, they still have this desire and need to come and contribute to their home. You are surely a shining example.
For the leader of the delegation, the Governor Obaseki administration's determination towards driving economic growth is applaudable. The scholars whose traveling documents have been processed by NSCDC with payment of all necessary academic dues got admission into the university to study engineering-related courses. In Benin, Elizabeth Omoko, NTA News.
And still from the seat of power, Edo State government has described the federal government's plan to restore the refinery to usage as a step in the right direction. Governor Godwin Obaseki made the statement in an engagement at Iwohimi, Edo Central. Elizabeth Omoko again has details.
The federal government at the State House ministerial briefing organized by the Presidential Communications team recently in Abuja disclosed plans to stop the importation of petroleum products into the country by June 2023. Reasons that the combined output of Nigeria's refineries being revamped and Dangote Refinery would be enough to stop importation. These agreements aimed at helping the country sidestep the likely crude oil glut that will follow as more countries move away to cleaner energy. Governor Obaseki says is a welcome development.
Is it not a shame that we are importing oil, and whereas we are one of the largest producers of crude oil on the continent?
For Alhaji Aliko Dangote, there are hopes that the 2023 deal will help solve petroleum importation challenge and provide petroleum products to Nigerians.
We cannot provide for Nigeria and Africa. It will provide fully for Nigeria and some part of West and Central Africa.
Observers say Nigeria will be a hub of export of petroleum products, not just to the West African countries, but to the world at large. In Benin, Elizabeth Omoko, NTA News.
We'll be back with more reports from Abuja, but this will be after this next round of commercial messages. Please stay tuned.
It's life. Once you lose hope, you lose life. Once people get lifted to a certain level, they start feeling godlike.
What would you attribute this backwardness in education to in the North to date?
What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong.
The program is reflection.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Preview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk, app for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
harmony of biodiversity destroyed, birthing climate crisis and crime phases.
Dicey situation indeed, yet we carry on like a bull in a china shop.
On environment matters, we take the bull by the horns, comb the nooks and cranny of Nigeria.
Asking tough questions.
Examining challenges and opportunities.
Giving human face to the science, facts, facts, and global agreements. It's a call for action. Don't miss it.
Join award-winning environmental journalist Jennifer Igwe and other NTA eco reporters for Environment Matters.
Welcome back. The Federal Ministry of Education says it is leveraging on the existing progress and transformation in the development of literacy learning spaces for the Nigerian adults and youths. This was at the ministerial media briefing to mark this year's International Literacy Day. The theme for this year, which is transforming literacy learning spaces, exploring opportunities and possibilities, as declared by UNESCO, is in tune with Nigeria's efforts on utilizing digital era aimed at meeting the learning needs of youths and adults in different environments.
I want to reiterate government's commitment to continually adopt existing and emerging transformation innovations in the literacy learning spaces. Indeed, our agenda for the year is premised on concerted efforts geared toward the creation of learner-centric learning spaces, even as we strive to connect the learning pathways between informal, non-formal, formal education systems and account for the literacy learning outcomes that take place in unconventional spaces.
International Literacy Day is marked annually to analyze issues on global literacy for social development. To further acquaint its primary school teachers on effective and modern teaching methods, Jigawa State Government is holding a 3-day capacity building for mathematics and English teachers in the state. Muhammad Askira reports that government is partnering NTA, NTA and Coalition for Youth Development in the training.
This is one in the series of teacher training being organized by Youth and Civil Society Coalition for Development in collaboration with National Information Technology Development Agency NIDA, the Universal Basic Education Commission UBEC, the Nigeria Television Authority NTA and the Jigawa State Government. Only last year, 750 secondary school teachers of English and mathematics selected across 3 senatorial districts of Jigawa State were trained and supported with laptop computers to enhance their capacity. This one is focused on the basic and English language teachers are the first to benefit, the objective of which experts say is to enhance the capacity of the teachers to provide sound foundation on which the pupils will build their educational pursuit.
When you really train the teacher to use a lot of skills, a lot of approaches to the teaching, and more importance is to show him the importance of planning before you go to the classroom.
The emphasis also is on the new strategy of teaching of this same English language, because we realize that we have so many problems at the lower level, at the middle, which becomes a spillover to the tertiary level.
The 3-day training, therefore, the speakers noted, will reverse the thinking of the teachers and equip them with the technical know-how to apply modern techniques and methods of teaching at the basic level of education for better results. Governor Muhammadu Badru Abubakar, represented by Deputy Umar Namadi, said government has provided conducive teaching atmosphere at all levels of education in the state. What remains is the teachers' capacity building to enhance delivery.
This program is very, very important. It's very dear to us as a government because it trains our teachers on how to teach English and mathematics in primary school at the basic level.
They need to be considered because they are the foundation, and if they are trained and they train their student very well, it will be easier for the junior and senior secondary school up to the level of university.
Through these workshops, I believe we will be equipped
with modern techniques of teaching, especially by using technology.
From Dute, Muhammad Askira, NTA News.
Let's join Gift George for sports updates.
The Nigerian Football Federation has confirmed that the Super Eagles will play Algeria in an exhibition match on September 27. The Nigerian Football Governing Body announced that the friendly game in a post in a social media platform. The match is in preparation for the upcoming African Cup of Nations qualifiers. Still on football, the Super Falcons of Nigeria and the USA women's football team will clash on Tuesday in Washington, D.C. in the second fixture of the two-match tour of the United States. The three-time world champions USA beat the nine-time African champions, the Super Falcons, by 4-0 in the first match. Both USA and Nigeria have qualified to participate in the 9th FIFA Women's World Cup. To volleyball, Egypt are winners of the 2022 Africa Under-19 Girls Volleyball Championship, defeating the defending champions Cameroon 3-1 back-to-back in Abuja. Host Nigeria suffered in the hands of both countries, thereby allowing Egypt and Cameroon to pick the ticket to represent Africa at the World Under-19 Volleyball Championship later in the year.
These are young children that are just coming up. And some of them, not up to 3 months or 4 months, they get into volleyball. These are under 19, and we're happy with them.
In other sports, preparations have been concluded for the 12th edition of the Nigerian Navy Games, scheduled for the Nigerian Navy Sports Complex, Navy Town, Lagos. The games are to further enhance the physical fitness and well-being of the Nigerian Navy personnel. Programs of the competition was made known at a media briefing in Lagos.
Diversifying ourselves in the area of sports, one will be surprised what is Navy doing playing polo.
22 events will be on display. On a sober note, friends, colleagues, former and 7 members of the NTA family converged on the NTA Lagos Network Center to celebrate the life and times of the former acting general manager of NTA Sports, the late Henry Effium. Guests paid glowing tribute on the legacies of the late sports broadcaster.
Henry was the best in putting together scripts.
Many people will come out to say good things about Henry, but you ask yourself this question: what will I be remembered for?
With sports update, Gifts George, NTA.
And colleagues and friends of late Henry Effium, former general manager NTA Sports, have described his life as short but impactful. Again, Gifts George reports.
It was a moment of sober reflections as friends, colleagues, former and 7 members of the NTA converged on the NTA Lagos Network Center to celebrate the brief but impactful life and times of the immediate past acting general manager of NTA Sports, the late Henry Effium. Acting Zonal Director, NTA Lagos Network Center, Mrs. Gina Etuk, described the late Henry Effium as a consummate worker.
Many people will come out to say good things about Henry, but you ask yourself this question: what will I be remembered for? Have I been living my life well and right?
Guests and other colleagues paid glowing tribute to the departed.
Very hardworking, and if there's anything he's not clear about, he likes to ask questions.
In terms of details, in terms of data, in terms of facts, Henry was one of the best.
He's a stickler for doing things right, and he has a very soft and gentle way of putting things across to you.
Pastor Itwa Igodalo, during the words of exhortation, emphasized the need to leave behind worthy legacies.
If you are able to fulfill God's purpose for you here on earth, you most likely will leave a legacy.
Born 51 years ago, the former sports presenter and producer had a 3-month industrial training with the NTA Jos in 1990 and later got employed into NTA Lagos in 1997. From 2012 to 2018, the late Henry Effium was manager news head of sports, Lagos Network Center. In 2018, he was transferred to NTA Channel 12 Uyo Akwa Ibom State as manager news current affairs, and later to NTA Makurdi Network Center in 2020 as an assistant director news. Until his demise on August 20, 2022, he was the acting general manager, NTA Sports 24.
Henry was the best in putting together scripts. Let him cover an assignment, the script Henry will pull out won't be the same.
Remember, he started the Sports Parliament. He was a pioneer producer.
His remains will be committed to Mother Earth on the 9th of September 2022 in Calabar. In Lagos, Gift George, NTA News.
And that concludes Nationwide for today. We thank you so much for your time. Do remember to join the NTA in the campaign against rape and rapists. Bye for now.